President Halimah Yacob has described her presidency as a proud moment for multiculturalism and multiracialism in Singapore. She also explained the rationale for putting herself up as a candidate in the country's first reserved election for Malay candidates. Mdm Halimah, whose term ends tomorrow, reflects on her 6 years in a CNA documentary.
Every one of us who takes up a public office, and especially an office as high as this, is basically to serve. So you ask yourself, in what way can you serve? In life, we go through several stages, and at every stage, every opportunity that comes to serve, it requires different things from you. So as a president, I know that, this is the highest office of the land. There are very strong expectations. And as you know, as I said, it is something all-consuming. It is subject to public scrutiny. People don't easily go into that kind of a situation unless they really want to serve. And that was the primary consideration. In what way can I contribute? In what way can I serve? And that was solely the thing that drives me to take up the elected presidency.
Mdm Halimah also shared her thoughts on being the first female president and before that, the first female Speaker of Parliament. She underlined their significance as very few women reach such high leadership positions. It also projected a positive image for Singapore on the world stage.
I think that's really quite a plus point for Singapore, because a lot of people look at Singapore and when they meet me, then it is what we've always been talking about. Social mobility, we've been talking about meritocracy, And for me, it's a very unique experience because I came from a very poor background, very deprived. And then, as I said, because of my gender as a female and also because of my minority status, it does provide me with a very unique opportunity to serve all classes of people, regardless of race, gender, regardless of religion, regardless of social status. And certainly my trade union background helps tremendously in this respect.
Midway through her presidency, Mdm Halimah grappled with one of the biggest challenges in her career, the COVID-19 pandemic. And this led to the biggest draw on Singapore's past reserves. Mdm Halimah said that she was clear that she could only authorize the release of past reserves for very exceptional circumstances, and they had robust discussions.
The first part is really intense because we have the government, Minister for Finance, Minister for MTI, Minister for Health, and all their officers coming to brief us, for us then to ask the questions, the relevant questions. If you say the health situation is critical, what do you mean by that? Hospitals, if you say it's going to be overwhelmed if you don't have additional facilities, what do you mean by that? So once we've established that, then we go to the second part, and that is the question of how much to draw down. That is for the government then to justify, to say we need this amount, these billions of dollars for these purposes and these programs. And the programs are then all itemized. We have our role to protect the reserves and to make sure that the government's request is reasonable.
Internationally, Mdm Halimah projected what Singapore stood for on the world stage, that the country is a consistent and reliable partner amid increasing global uncertainty.
Well, I think in such a world where everything is so unsettled, the important message is to really transmit that we are a consistent partner with the countries that I meet, reliable, so that it's important to generate trust and goodwill, because relationship with other countries is not built on one day, 1 year, but it's consistently for many years. But at all times, I have really done my best to project what Singapore stands for, equality, social mobility, multiracialism. That's what I've always strived to do. And I hope that that's the message that they get when it comes to many of the world leaders that I've met.
At home, Mdm Halimah said that one of her defining roles as president was championing causes she felt strongly about. They included mental health, helping people with disabilities, as well as low-income families. And she hoped to have raised the awareness about such issues as she forged an inclusive society.
What I would like to remember also is a president who tries to build a more inclusive, caring, compassionate society. And I've done this through many programs that we have. For instance, the Picnic at the Istana program, where we bring in children from disadvantaged homes. I've contributed the best that I could. And I hope that has been supportive to the community, that has been able to raise the profile of certain underserved communities. I would be very happy if people were to remember me as a president that is accessible, that is inclusive, that tries to reach out to all segments of society.